Are we ready to go, Lenny?
Let's wait for a couple of people. Well, sorry, let's wait a couple of minutes for people to join. But yeah, we are all ready, all set. We have one attendee already with us in the room, and there is another one. So yeah, people are
All
starting
right, well, just
in.
just give it a couple of minutes then. Just let me know when you're ready for me to start.
Absolutely, I will do that.
Okay, and we can chat to everyone now, which is
Yes,
good.
and indeed.
Is my camera fine, or should I be
Your
doing something
camera's
to it?
great, Jamie. Yeah,
Okay,
don't do anything with it. You're perfect.
thanks. Oh, and there's a mic fine as well. I got a proper mic, but is that you can hear okay?
We hear you
Yep.
perfectly well.
How
No
about
worries.
me? How about
We
me?
We
yes,
can't see you, Paul.
now we do.
Now we can see you.
I am not gonna lie, this move to a Mac has made life a little bit easier sometimes. There's a lot of things about it that just work. Makes me sad, but it is the case.
We all told you.
So many people did for so long. But just things like getting a mic working, just
Yeah.
having a chat, the battery life, insane.
I've
Just
never
so good.
spent I've never spent anything on my own money on anything but a Mac.
Fair point, though. So, Matthew, how is Badcam going? I know that you already are there, aren't you?
I have no idea because I'm still in my hotel room for this. I did not want to battle for what bandwidth there might be there. It hasn't started yet. Although I did go out with Kristen and a few other people last night for supper, which was really, really nice. I don't think I've seen Kristen. Actually, you know what? I saw her in Atlanta. I was about to say I don't think that I've seen her for 5 or 6 years, but that's not true. Anyway, yeah, it's and I've seen people sort of in the hotel here a little bit, and um, yeah, I can't say that it's great or anything like that yet because I haven't been to the venue, but I'll be there after this webinar.
Well, we will be awaiting the report about the event. So I have no doubt it will be amazing. All right, it's 1 minute past four, well, for me, in the UK at least, so 1 minute past our starting time. So I would like to welcome everyone to this webinar, the fourth, I think it is, in our series. And today we will be talking about our plans for Vienna. We will have a sneak peek at some sessions, and the format of this webinar will be a panel, which Matthew here will be moderating, and Frederik, Paul, and Jamie will be the panelists. So with that short intro, and no further delay, I will just give the stage to our panelists and moderator.
Thanks, Lenny. So, hello out there in webinar land. My name is Matthew Saunders, and I work for Amaze.io as their AI ambassador. I'm also a marketing specialist for the AI initiative. I've been part of the Drupal community for, oh gosh, probably about 20 years, and I am absolutely thrilled to bits to be moderating this webinar. Today, like Lenny said, we're going to be exploring Drupal AI at DrupalCon Vienna with three of my friends. So I'll be guiding the discussion for about 40 minutes or so, followed up by time for your questions at the end. Plus, we'll do a little bit of a wrap up. What I'd like you to do is utilize the Q&A box throughout the session. We'll pick up those questions at the end, but please use the Q&A, not the chat, because we can't actually communicate through the chat as panelists. So I'm very pleased to introduce today's panelists. Each of our speakers works closely with clients to identify where AI can make a genuine difference in not only in terms of tools, but in the way that marketing is planned, delivered, and measured. And before we start the discussion, I'd like to invite each of them to briefly introduce themselves, who they are, the nature of their work, and the types of organizations they support. So, Paul, can we start with you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I should be Christoph Breidert, but he's been called away. Unfortunately, his daughter's been taken to hospital, so I'm stepping into his shoes. So I hope I do a good job. She's okay, by the way. I work in business development, sales and marketing, and also R&D at 1x Internet, and I'm also heading up the marketing of the Drupal AI initiative, so I'm very delighted to be here. I'll pass over to Frederik.
Hi, I'm Frederik. I'm working for Dropsolid, and there I'm also working research, like creating proof of concepts, but also making architectures for enterprises and everything AI related, innovation related. So I'm really also very enthusiastic about everything AI and Drupal. Jamie.
Oh yeah, my name's Jamie, and director of FreelyGive, a co-founder, and yeah, been obsessed with AI for quite a long time. Kind of doing everything AI related, and yeah, busy working towards some of the stuff we got to show you at DrupalCon Vienna. Very excited.
All right, thanks everybody for introducing yourselves, and it's really terrific to have such a range of perspectives with us today. So I'm going to start by setting things up for our panel, and I want to start with, first off, can you believe that Vienna is a short 19 days away? That just seems crazy to me, but we're just about there, and we've got an incredibly exciting and rich set of sessions and workshops on AI there. We'll talk quite a bit about the sessions we're excited to see as part of our panel conversation. And I think it's worth asking at this point, why is this content so important in this moment? And to answer that, I think it's helpful to look a little bit at the history of Drupal AI at this juncture. There was a lot of energy going on around Drupal AI at DrupalCon Atlanta. Almost 1,000 people were participating in conversations in the AI Slack channel, and a lot of modules were being created. And there wasn't a clear coordinated push. People were duplicating efforts, and it was obvious that we needed to start organizing to reduce waste and increase efficiency. So Dries asked for the formation of a strategic initiative, and lots of effort on multiple fronts, from development to marketing to product to management, has been going on. Which means that we've got tremendous momentum driving into Vienna, particularly around sessions and workshops being offered to help you learn about Drupal AI. This content can help you bring AI become an excellent AI practitioner with learnings to help you bring AI strategies to your clients and leaders. We're really at a pivotal moment in Drupal's history, and I think that all of us are poised to be part of that. So that brings me to my first question, and this is for you, Paul. Perhaps you can take this. How has the initiative evolved since the last DrupalCon?
Wow. There's the organization that we've got. Yeah, we started just a few short months ago, back in sort of May, June time, and when we were sat around the table with Dries, it felt like a really big thing that we were undertaking, and I think we all felt that it was we weren't quite sure how we were going to take this, and how we were actually going to accomplish what was before us. But already in these, we're now in September. We will be announcing that we've got even more makers joining the initiative, and for me personally, that's been incredible, because in just a few weeks, we've seen a lot of people join the marketing side of the initiative. And actually, I set a task when I went on a holiday just before going on leave, for all the makers to start producing landing pages for different industry verticals. And everyone has stepped up, and whilst I've been away, they've all magically generated these landing pages, which will go live just before DrupalCon. So you're going to see a hive of activity on Drupal.org around the AI side of things. And also this week, we've seen a flurry of case studies coming forward now. So we've had 10 new companies or organizations present or make us aware of case studies that we can now talk about, and we're sort of preparing the story for those now, and I'm really excited to announce those at DrupalCon. So I think compared to where we were 12 months ago, it's like a quantum leap.
That's awesome. How about you, Jamie? For you, how's the initiative evolved maybe from a more of a development side of for the initiative since DrupalCon?
Yeah, it's been super exciting. I've been blown away by the quality of the contributions and how many there were. Historically in Drupal, when there's a new thing like this, like when there's a new area to work on, usually maybe one company, sometimes just one person is pioneering and focusing on that with a small team around them sometimes. And we had that for a bit with there was a collection of us that started the AI module, but Marcus did a lot of the work. And it's been amazing seeing so many people step up and particularly get really into the details and depth of AI. We've had so many amazing ideas, contributions, deep understanding of how AI connects and talks to each other, how to improve things. It has pushed things forwards along Marcus's level. So I think we're in a really powerful place. And I really do keep thinking, like, we've never quite done something like this in the Drupal community. There's never been this much cross-company collaboration all over sort of one area, although it's touching on a lot. We've had like views in core that was crowdfunded. We had multiple contributors for Drupal 8, but that was kind of like individual people. Something this size, I think we've never quite seen. And I've been really excited to see the quality of involvement jump up. Like there is a really powerful community of AI developers that I'm seeing now, all organized together, all working together, talking regularly, all towards common goals.
Unbelievably exciting, isn't it? Like I agree. I've never seen anything quite like this, and I've been doing Drupal for nearly 20 years, and there's been sort of small examples of this kind of happening, but nothing like this. Yeah. All right. So Paul, this one's for you. What are you most excited to share with the Drupal community in Vienna?
Well, the thing that really stands out to me first and foremost is the Drupal AI workshops that Frederik and Christoph are going to be holding. To kind of steal your term, I think we want to create those aha moments for people. So these will be like hands-on workshops where you'll be able to produce a real implementation of AI in a short space of time, and hopefully we're going to create those moments where people realize exactly how to leverage AI in Drupal and actually how easy it is and how powerful it is. I think what we found in a lot of the research we've done is that people are struggling to take that first step, or they're not quite seeing ways in which they can actually leverage it in their own context. So I'm very much hoping that that is going to be something which people go away from DrupalCon really empowered. And there's another session that stood out to Christoph is the SEO in an age of AI search. We think that's really interesting because there's somebody else looking at that in parallel with our looking into how we've got specific focus on those areas in the AI initiative. We're hoping that the coming together of minds around that topic is going to hopefully reduce duplication of effort and perhaps come up with an even better solution than we had in mind. And then there's also from a personal level, this session about AI in the European Accessibility Act. That's intended to try and see how AI could be used to help to comply with this new legislation that came live in June. So I'm personally very interested in going to that session because a lot of organizations are on the back foot with the Accessibility Act and how they're going to comply with that. And we've also got this session, Institutional Intelligence at Yale University, that they've started to have Drupal as a real sort of central pillar in their digital transformation. So I think people that are working inside big organization will find that session really interesting. Maybe some learnings from Yale in how they've actually accomplished this will be a big takeaway for people.
Thanks, Paul. And Jamie, how about you? What are you most excited to share with the Drupal community in Vienna?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it is a progress. A year ago with Barcelona, we showed some stuff. Some of it was proof of concept. Some of it came out in Drupal CMS 1.0, and we hinted at things like page building, all the experience builder stuff, etc. And so I'm really excited to actually show us doing it properly. It's taken a while. It's been so much harder than we thought. There's so much in it to get this going well, but I'm really excited to show that off. And then also there's a talk by Jasper called ECA, AI, and MCP, Connecting Context, Intelligence, and Actions. And Frederik, we've been talking about this for ages, close to our heart. It's never had the spotlight we've wanted, this kind of ECA workflow stuff. Marcus started with AI interpolator and automators of having these deterministic flows, and agents took the spotlight, and that was what everyone's excited by. But in the last, really month, this stuff has come together, and I'm really excited to start showing off slightly more guided, more deterministic workflows where you combine agents and what you're good at with Drupal all together. Using MCP to call other tools, really excited by where that's going to go. And so, yeah, I think that's going to be the next big thing we're going to start talking about, and you'll get a sneak peek at that talk.
Cool. So Frederik, Paul hinted at these workshops that you're going to be engaged in. I would love to just have you give us a sneak peek, and what can the attendees expect that they can walk away with?
Yeah, so we'll really make it easy. So for people that never even looked at the module, the workshop really begins with nothing. We'll enable the module together. We'll configure the provider. We'll set up the first implementations for CK editor, the translations, the really basic things, and then we'll evolve into setting up agents, getting the assistant like a chatbot style thing on your side, and an AI search thing. And in the end, the idea with the workshop is that you know how all of this works. So we'll explain everything while we're doing it. And our goal is that everybody in the workshop has it working for them and understands what's happening. So that's the idea of the workshop.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, we also have another session, Christoph and I, because we're talking a lot about the technical things, but there's also the AI strategy and application session, which isn't really a workshop. It's more of a high-level strategic session. And there's probably also some interest from people that aren't technical. So if you're not technical, but more into business things, there's a session called Drupal AI Strategy and Application, and we'll talk about words like return on investment and these kinds of things. So more businessy things.
Ooh, return on investment. I like those words. Jamie, do you have any talks in this space that you're interested in sort of highlighting?
Yeah, I mean, Vincenzo gave one at Atlanta, which was a hands-on workshop about how to build AI agents, building AI agents, tools, and assistants in Drupal. And that was really great. It was really cool to see that happen for the first time. The first version of the AI module, it took a while to get people up and running, but this newer version, it's a lot easier to get in to actually build things with code. And then Marcus, which he'll be giving another one, but in a more from a non-developer point of view of how to get these things together. And then Kristen's going to have a talk called Migrating Anything and Everything to Drupal Canvas. Again, alongside ECA, I think post Vienna, we're going to see migration become again the big hot topic that we're all talking about and working towards. So stuff to do with migration, I think is going to be a big thing that you can learn how to do and how to get things into Drupal Canvas.
And I think it's worth saying that that the Kristen's talk, while it doesn't sound like it's a particularly AI talk, actually is. So if you're interested in how AI is going to be able to help you with migrations, I think that's a no-brainer to go to. So my next question for the panel is: are there any sessions or moments you think will surprise people this year? And I think, Paul, I'd like you to start answering, with the first answer on this one.
Sure. I mean, I think Dries is on a bit of a roll, really. If I think back to Lille, the Dries note was really quite remarkable, and then he turned up a gear with some of the really amazing things that Jamie and Marcus have been working on with the AI in Barcelona at this time. You know, it really is going to be amazing. It's going to blow your minds, I think. You know, certainly from the AI perspective, you know, we've got a much larger team. We've only had them going for 3 months, but they've achieved an awful lot. And Vienna is a really big focal point for deliverables, and we're working closely with the Drupal CMS team and obviously the Canvas team, Layout Builder. Yeah, it really is going to be amazing. But it's not just going to be technical. We will be revealing an incredible number of case studies, specifically in Drupal AI. I think you're going to be, your eyebrows are going to be raised when you see what types of organization are using Drupal AI and what they're using it for. Obviously, it's under embargo. We can't talk about it specifically, but yeah, it is going to be like a breathtaking session. But there's also industry sessions like the session by London Southwark Council about lean digital service design. We're particularly, as an agency, as 1X, interested in taking lessons learned from that project because we're working very closely with the Icelandic government, building similar platforms inspired by local gov Drupal and how some of the UK councils are actually working. So that's going to be one that I definitely want to go to. And then another session that I think would be really interesting to go to is the Drupal Business Survey 2025. I mean, we've just today rolled out the AI survey for 2025. The final document has been released. Check Drupal Planet for that. It's always got some, the Drupal Business Survey always has really valuable insights for business owners. So I would definitely turn up to that session. And one that I think is going to be like a major session to see is Ryan's session on how to sell Drupal site templates. Last year, Dries mentioned the site templates. I was actually at Atlanta. And ever since then, Ryan's been working on retooling Commerce Kickstart to kind of boost his sales strategy. And he's going to be talking about that in Vienna, and maybe that will inspire people to kind of rethink how they're running their agencies, their businesses based on Drupal.
How about you, Jamie?
Yeah, well, I hope there'll be a lot that will surprise people in the Dries note. Obviously under embargo, so can't say too much about it. But I'm excited. I think I would say actually what Paul's been doing, and you, Matthew, as well, with the marketing has also been pretty exciting. So I really hope, obviously, when we talk about these things, the Drupal community tends to be very developer focused and code focused. But also we've come together a lot as agencies to market Drupal, to figure out a strategy on that. And whereas before, when I was talking to people about AI, very few people knew what was going on. And I've had people now who are chatting to me about, oh, I heard you did this particular thing the other day, and I didn't realize it was a big deal to others. But through this flow that we have of people building things, reporting, Paul getting things out, blog posts happening, I think that will be also really surprising to people how much we've got going there with the marketing of Drupal. But yeah, apart from that, I just think the Dries note will be special. It's always been special, but I'm excited by that.
Awesome. Frederik, what do you think is going to be exciting and surprising to people?
Well, this year in the Drupal Dev Days in Leuven, Marcus Johansson did a session where he did a prompt injection hack on Drupal, which was really cool and very surprising for the entire audience, I think. So I'm very curious to see what he will be bringing in Vienna. I certainly will be attending Marcus's session. I think it's called Building AI Agents Without Coding. So certainly check that one out. And also, Paul, I want to iterate on what you told about the business survey. Yeah, Christoph was really enthusiastic about that. So certainly, like, mark that in your calendar, everybody.
Awesome. So I'm gonna change directions just slightly here, and I'm interested in hearing a little bit about how you're ensuring that the content speaks to both newcomers and experienced Drupal professionals. And what are some ways that teams can start applying what they'll learn in Vienna to their own projects? And we're going to start with you, Jamie. I'm going to put you on the hot spot on this one.
Yeah, well, I think we always are focusing on newcomers a lot, because even if you're experienced Drupal developer, AI is very new. There's a lot of things about it that require you to think a little bit differently in how you solve problems, how you build things. We're also starting to really see that AI changes quite a lot in terms of how we sell, how we organize. I think it's going to shake up the agency model a lot. I think for the better. I don't think it's coming for our jobs. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there. But as a result of that, we really do have to make almost all our talks really focused on newcomers. Even if you are a seasoned developer, you're going to want to know a lot to get you there. So certainly, my talk will be going into a little bit more detail about the things in the Dries note, but is aimed at newcomers. And you find that with Marcus. We are starting to see more talks a bit like Vincenzo's one about creating AI agents aimed at experienced developers. And I think as we go forwards, we're going to have more advanced experienced developer talks because there's going to be more people who've been doing AI for a lot. Yeah, and I think the best way is you see the demos. If you can see what's built, how to build those. Marcus puts a lot of his stuff on Workflows of AI. It's a website where he shows how he builds those things. So a lot of the things you see him do, you'll see a little live build of that. And we're going to be getting more and more on Drupal.org to help you learn how to do those things alongside the workshops.
Cool, thanks. What about you, Paul?
I think I'm probably the most likely person to be talking in a way that is going to be for the newcomer. I'm a really strong advocate for the business owner who perhaps is still wrestling with, what do I actually do to generate value from this AI and avoid the pitfalls. So, I'm sort of burrowing in from the outside to the development side, and we're starting off with creating these 17, 18 landing pages that are focusing on different industry verticals. And they're going to tell a story about the different types of use cases from experts in those industries as to what use cases you could apply Drupal AI to, so that we can start to kind of sow those ideas into the minds of people. And what's happening in the background is that in step with those is Christoph is working with the team on creating recipes so that we can actually deliver like packages that can be downloaded and used almost straight away. We're trying as much as we can. We can't all be masterminds like Marcus and AI experts like Jamie. But we're trying to sort of package that into ways in which people can actually use, but also using it in the language of the end user so that it is really simplified. So hopefully people will start to see very quickly now how that's starting to bear fruit, and we'll open, I think, the floodgates to adoption.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'd like to. We talked about case studies a little bit earlier, Paul. You had mentioned them, and I'd like to get a sense of what real world use cases people will see demonstrated in Vienna. And I know, Frederik, you've been working a ton around that because Dropsolid has been collecting those use cases. So I'd love it if you could just speak a little bit about use cases and case studies.
Yeah, so last year I was working with a city that's using AI automators to generate social media content, but also like other event-based content based off of an API. There's also the case where they're using DrupalCommerce. It's like a leasing company that's using DrupalCommerce to make from offers from other companies. They're making new DrupalCommerce cards, and people can just like go from that straight away. So they're automating real manual work that used to be completely manual, which is now fully automatic, and it's not a CK editor thing. It's like a real proper AI implementation. There's also the water utility company that we're doing at Dropsolid for the contact center, but there's also a number of other cases as well. I think, Matthew, perhaps you can elaborate on the case that you brought from DB Schenker.
Yeah, DB Schenker had a situation where they were and they're a logistics company for folks that aren't familiar with them, one of the largest in the world. So they do things like they ship things by a container ship. They do air shipping. They do warehousing, all that kind of stuff. And they were in a situation where they were having challenges with 3 different areas. One was being piled up with email. A lot of it wasn't relevant, and they needed some way to route that to email to the appropriate people, and triage it so they could skim out the cruft. They also needed ways that they could deal with routing documents correctly to appropriate people, and so forth. And Amazy worked with a company called Kudos to put together a system that would automate a good chunk of this work. And they also needed to be able to generate reports. And all of these tasks were taking, in some cases, days, in some cases, weeks. And the utilization of AI has managed to help them break that down into like a day or minutes or real time. And that case study is up on Drupal.org now if people are interested in looking at it. But it was a great project to work on. And it really does show how Drupal AI can affect that return on investment we were talking about a little bit earlier, Frederik. And Paul, what is maybe some of the things published on Drupal AI case studies? Can you talk a little bit about things that you've seen come across the board, and the things that interest you?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's one that is our own agency have delivered. It's sat there waiting, ready to go for World Cancer Day in February. Last year, that's what they do is they have this campaign which runs for 24 hours, one day across the world, and it gets a huge amount of traffic. And they invite people to tell their story, how cancer has touched their lives or how it's affected them, or and you can visit a web page to upload images and words to tell your story. And the whole campaign is hinged around the way that you can immediately, quickly see these stories starting to emerge during the day. And there's hundreds, thousands of these stories coming through. They were swamped last year. And they were up overnight. The whole team had to put in like crazy hours to get all the stories processed, because each one has to be moderated by hand. So what we've done now is we've integrated Drupal AI so that some of the moderation can actually be handled automatically. So it's only the stories that get flagged as having certain criteria that go through the human loop. And so we've already got that in place, and that will be ready so that they can actually, the whole idea is to try and reach as many people as possible, but in doing so, they create a problem. So Drupal AI is actually helping them to be able to cope with a theoretically unlimited number of submissions now. So we're really excited about that. And it's a really positive story as well. Yeah, it's an incredible course.
For sure. And Jamie, you and I were talking a few days ago about a session that you were pretty excited about, that had to do with AI bots maybe not being such a great thing. Do you want to share a little bit about your thinking on that?
Yeah. Yeah. So what, it's a slightly different take on AI and real life use cases. It's sort of at the other end. But what we have found, and I think a lot of us have found, is that a lot of us have found, particularly because of the way views are set up, the AI indexing has just been hammering our sites. A lot of sites have been going down just because of AI. And it's been a big thing that a lot of our clients and also a lot of big organizations have worried about. And so there's this talk called Help, My Search Page is Getting Hammered by an AI Bot, which by Antti Lorch. And I think that's going to be a really powerful, good talk. It's going to be a very practical one that I think we're all going to want to look into. So although I obviously love AI, there's some negatives, and this is Drupal coming to save us again. I think also, I just wanted to say as well that I've always felt that, year 2023 was the year we talked about embeddings and vectors and tokens and the nuts and bolts. 2024 was like the year of the proof of concept, and 2025 was going to be the year of like real stuff. And it's been quite amazing to see a lot of the marketing, like Paul and Frederik and yourselves, stuff to find these case studies. Because actually, in the wild, there's so much noise, there's so much stuff that people are selling, but it's not really real behind it. And I've always felt that one thing that's powerful about Drupal is that we can do it for real. We're actually connected to the very edge. You know, OpenAI, they're not sat in the same offices or speaking regularly to these people like, you know, the UN or World Cancer Day, etc. They're there, whereas we're out there in a real world where we can actually just do things. And one powerful little thing, it's not quite Vienna, but next week with Dropsolid and the European Commission, there's some training sessions that we've been doing, a whole series of how to bring Drupal AI into your DNA. And we're going to do the one about AI search. And there was that's going to have a little powerful demo of using AI to merely fill out the views filters. Just takes natural language, fills out views filters, and then searches it. And that one just showed there's some very reasonable queries. You know, Google couldn't do it, their site couldn't do it. AI comes along, no hallucinations, doesn't take long to build. It just works. And so I'm really hoping that throughout 2026, as we gear up all of our infrastructure to find out about these things, we're going to learn more and more about what we're doing with Drupal AI in the real world, and then learn how to share those things with recipes, etc.
Awesome. So, you know, we have this sort of notion of no-code AI features versus development-centric capabilities. And you know, as you know, as the panel knows, I've been focused a lot on no-code and low-code personally. But I would really love to hear a little bit about how we're balancing those sort of pressures between one another, between the no-code AI features and the development-centric capabilities. And Jamie, I think I'd like you to jump in on that one, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, it's such an important balance because I really feel like it sets Drupal and Drupal AI apart from a lot of the other systems out there. You know, you've heard the phrase vibe coding. There's a lot of things that you can do with similar to what we're talking about in Drupal, where you can ask Claude Code to just make it for you. But then you have a whole bunch of code, which who knows if it's good, if it hallucinates, its security. And so there's this term we're coining, which is kind of like vibe configuring. You know, in the Drupal CMS AI agents, when you're building content types and entities and fields, it is actually like you're making software, but it's just adding configuration. It's a lot more safe, much less. If it hallucinates, it will just not work rather than do something very unpredictable and insecure. And so I think it's a real big place where Drupal needs to live and needs to win. And so that's why I'm really excited by Canvas. I know today's more about the Drupal AI stuff that's going to happen, but we've been working very closely with Canvas, and there's a ton of really great Canvas talks that allow you to learn how to build pages. And we've infused AI with all of that to take you through that process. And so that's like a really great place where you ask it to build things. It's building it in Canvas, but you're seeing it done, and you can edit things, you can undo, you can change it. So as a non-developer, you can have feel like a lot of control over what it's doing. There's a lot of tools already for no code, as we said with Marcus's talk. Where this is going, I think this ECA orchestration flow stuff, I think is going to be another level of, okay, people who can't write code will be able to do really powerful, wild stuff that, you know, I'm just so excited. As a non-developer myself, as we've talked about a lot, I've always got very scared when I look at all these other systems. Is this not for me? Is it going to obsolete me? Can I do this? Do I have to learn to code, try again? But yeah, very excited by where this is going and the power we'll have at our hands.
Thanks. So let's talk a little bit about what we hope that attendees will walk away with from the AI programming in Vienna. And Paul, I'd love for you to jump in on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to expand it out a bit actually, and reflect on Drupal Dev Days in Leuven. Where I think the feeling I got from that event was all the exciting things around Layout Builder or Canvas, the recipes, the marketplace, and AI all combined. Whilst I was in that event, I just felt like electricity. There was everyone was just like really energized and excited about Drupal again. It was like it'd been born again almost. And yeah, you could just feel it in your blood that something amazing was happening. We were kind of writing history for ourselves, and I think that's going to carry on in Vienna and probably be amplified, both because we've made more progress and there's more people there. There's a lot of great minds coming together. I just think that when we all walk away from that conference, we're all going to be realizing that Drupal is in a real resurgence, and incredible things are going to happen.
So, Frederik, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit and ask, what do you hope that attendees will walk away with from AI programming in Vienna?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I think for everybody the expectations are different. I hope that people get what they want out of it, because many people are expecting multiple things, and it's very hard to cater to everybody. So I hope that the beginners get their first touch of working with AI. I hope that the business people get some cases out of it. I hope that the marketing people get some marketing material. So for me, it's really like, I hope that everybody finds their need, finds their thing out of DrupalCon.
Yeah, good. Jamie, I want you to answer the question as well, but let's keep it short.
Yeah, I think it's time to start doing things with Drupal. I also think the next thing is we're racing ahead, but we've been building a lot of stuff. But the real big thing I think you'll want to do is we need to start selling. We need to start building, doing real stuff. That's the next stage. Is we just have to focus on selling and selling.
Thanks, appreciate that. Okay, so the next question that I'm going to ask is, how is the Drupal community's approach to AI distinct from what we're seeing in other open source platforms? And Paul, I'd love if you'd jump onto that one.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it really hinges on what we've always been good at, actually. Drupal is a really fabulous foundation for AI. We've spent 21 years building a platform that's got exceptional data modeling. It's got extensible and scalable content management, and also we've got this API first architecture. And then we've got ways to and have got comprehensive integration. So I think we're continuing, and also the way that we've got this ecosystem of modules and extensions that we can use to kind of, as people have always said, it's like the Swiss Army knife. It can do everything, and I think that really holds true with Drupal AI as well. We're staying true to all of our foundational concepts around being open and responsible, and being like an advocate for the open web as well. And I think that's a very distinct thing, which is going to attract a great number of organizations that value those things. There's a lot of good governance around the platform as well. So it's a really robust and safe choice, and we've got a long heritage of that, and I think that puts us in a really strong place, and it is a very strong differentiator.
Jamie, when we were preparing for the webinar, you and I talked about quite a few different sessions that touched on this. Why don't you share with me, maybe 2, 3 of your favorites that talk a little bit about this concept?
Yeah, I think oh no, undo, revert recipes, and AI configuration changes. Like Fabian has been from a long time working with us on the config side of things. And I think that'll be a really important talk for this, because for this stuff to scale, what we are finding is that the configuration management needs to be on another level. Because if you have AI going around changing everything, it's actually a lot more powerful if we can get something that AI produces safely onto a live site faster. And so there's a lot of stuff. Dries did a really good blog post about rethinking Drupal CMS, Drupal as a CMS in the age of AI. And Fabian's been building a lot towards that goal. And I think it will go somewhere. And from a businessy point of view, there's the post-product product manifesto. AI is disrupting both SaaS and the consulting world. How this will turn this threat into a Drupal renaissance. I'm someone who have come from a relative niche of Drupal products. Like we did native Drupal CRM, that was our focus. And we used to connect a lot with the commerce people, with Open Social, with Pronovix, building these products out of Drupal rather than websites. And we've moved away from that in the Drupal community a bit with how we've done configuration management. But it does feel like now's the time to get going with it, because as it gets faster and faster to add features safely, the allure of those big monolithic SaaS products is sort of dying. Microsoft declared this, well, the end of SaaS. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's certainly the case that I think there's an opportunity here for us in Drupal. And then finally, Drupal, the first design system native CMS from the same people that did Display Builder. There's a lot we do that is so much more reusable, but truly reusable. It's not over-engineered, and we're seeing that with our design system. We've historically been seen very negatively in a way that our theming and design stuff work compared to competing products, but being really good at structured data. But now, clearly designed, structured design systems and theming is becoming more and more important, especially for AI. We're pushing a lot with the metadata schema inside Drupal Canvas that has design systems that can understand what it's doing and tell AI what it's going to do. And I think that's going to be another level of, okay, we were doing things right in Drupal, and AI is going to show that off.
Awesome. And Frederik, I think you have a thought or two about this as well.
Yeah, I think what you also see that currently there's a big push of digital independence from big US SaaS providers. We see this in Europe now more and more, and Drupal has been always doing this and giving people the power to do this. So I feel that, and this is not only in Drupal, we also see this in Mautic, which is another open source system. There's many big companies that used to use the US SaaS providers are now looking to open source. So this is a great market actually for our tools.
What I'd like to do is pivot now to community involvement and growth. The thing that I'm most interested in hearing about at this point is how contributors can get involved right now. Who wants to take lead on this question?
Yeah, I can go for it.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a ton of places now. So of the first place, a lot of the time is Slack. So we're in #AI, #AI-contrib. And there's a lot of community stuff happening there. So if you ever want to help out, go into Slack. You'll find someone who can talk to you. But we've also created Drupal StarForge.ai. How that will come over to Drupal.org, we don't know yet, because this AI stuff is happening across a ton of modules, like 20, 30 different modules. So it can sometimes be a bit overwhelming where to get started. And so if you go to Drupal StarForge.ai, you can see a priority Kanban board of issues that need reviewing across the ecosystem. You can see a calendar of all the maker companies, what they're working on. You can see the deliverables we're working towards. And so that's a really good place. By far the best place is reviewing issues. I think anyone can help out with that. From a development point of view. And we have a lot of regular meetings now, again on Slack, and video calls once a week. So you can join in on those. There's daily async Slack meetings where people are saying they need some help, or this is an area that needs reviewing, or here's a task that you can get started with. And then finally, you can get involved directly with the AI initiative. There's a form now, I think, for joining. And that will get you onboarded as a maker properly. And I think Paul is also looking for a lot of ways to get involved, not as a developer. But the other thing is we're starting to meet up more. So in Pune, in India, near the end of November, we're actually going to do a Drupal AI sprint. More details about that will follow. And we're seeing other communities do this. I think we want to start doing this a bit more, of having these in-person sprints around the world. Because they're really fun. They're a really good place to just get on with getting stuff done, seeing as we're all working. And they're a good way of raising energy and buzz. Yeah.
Awesome. And let's see, what role is community feedback playing in shaping the AI program at this point? Paul, do you want to jump in and give us a sense of that? Because I know that you're involved with the community pretty heavily.
Yeah, well, I mean, Christoph could probably speak quite in volumes to this. I mean, the AI survey that was released today is heavily, contributed by members of the community, business leaders. What we did was we framed questions around where organizations and individuals were placing value in AI, but we also asked a lot of open questions to get qualitative feedback. And so Christoph and I have spent many weeks analysing. There were over 230 submissions. It's been really helpful in informing what the general trends are globally in AI, but also has fed into the roadmap considerations. So we did ask specific questions around some of the all of the features that we've got in our roadmap and how we should prioritize that. So that's been really helpful, but it's also revealed a lot of information in the open questions about things that we hadn't thought of. So I would definitely encourage people to engage in these kind of exercises, because it's a really valuable way to influence the direction of the platform. But also the makers have a strong influence in directing actual development as well. So they have more sway. Because we're obviously looking to develop features which are in demand by the market. So it's in everyone's benefit to make sure that's the case. So that's pretty much what we're doing.
Great, thanks, Paul. And I'm gonna now sort of pivot us to questions and answers for the last few minutes of the webinar. So folks that want to ask additional questions, please add your questions to the QA feature of Zoom. That'll make it easier for us to follow them. But the first question that I've got here is from Nicholas Borda, and this is to Jamie. Hi, Jamie. You mentioned replacing views filters with AI features. When are you going to demo or go over this?
So it's going to be in the European Commission and Dropsolid training sessions. Bring AI into your DNA. There's a link. I think Frederik can have it, but it's next week. No, the following week. So it's on the 7th of October, and there is a sign up on Dropsolid and on the actual live the playlist, because it gets streamed live and then recorded. So in a couple of weeks.
I'm just dropping a link in now, so that there's a link to it from the initiative page.
Webinar Drupal AI, yeah. And the first version is something that is very quick to build. Eventually, we want to turn it into a module, but at the moment, it has to have a little bit of developer work to customize it to the particular filters for that view. But it was, so powerful.
Great. So this question is from Anonymous, and I think Frederik, if you could answer this question, can you think of a specific moment or insight from planning the workshops that made you think this is really going to make an impact?
Yeah, it's not the first time that I'm doing the workshop. I've been doing the Drupal AI workshop for a few years already. So I've done it twice in Switzerland. I've been doing it at another conference as well. So it's not the first time, and I've seen the audience growing as well. So I'm quite sure many people will be interested. I've also done it at the Dev Days, by the way. So the material in the workshop also has evolved already for a few years. I'm quite sure many people will be interested. It's very how to say this? It's very accessible, so you really need no Drupal experience to get started with this. If you have experience with the backend, how to press buttons with a mouse, you'll get along. So it's pretty easy to get along. And if you want to continue, we can go really into depth. Go, Paul.
Yeah, Michael Gleason's asking, how do we sign up for these workshops?
I've put the link in the chat. So there's the workshop is a DrupalCon. I also have an open source repository where there is the workshop explained for people that want to do it outside of DrupalCon. I'm finalizing it still, so I can't share it here yet. It's a work in progress, but at some point I'll share all the exercises, everything that we do in the workshop will be open.
And just to plug that, Frederik was sharing that with me a few days ago, and it is really, really cool. So when Dropsolid is ready to share that, open it up, I recommend that you jump in. It'll allow you to learn at your own pace. Super easy to follow. Really, really, really excellent work. How are we using lessons from previous DrupalCons or AI webinars to shape the Vienna program? I'm not sure who can answer this question. I haven't been involved directly with forming the Vienna program, but Jamie, you've unmuted, so maybe you have some insight.
Yeah, I think it's more for Chicago. We are learning a lot, so we're putting a lot more effort into trying to figure out how we do these talks. It's getting complicated with how much is being built sort of by like an official strategic initiative. So whereas before, a lot of these talks at DrupalCons were just like anyone would say anything. But now DrupalCons have almost like product announcements of things that have been worked on by a large number of people. So we're trying to get the right balance of how do we make it so that the people who've been making something can authoritatively talk about a topic, and how we can also keep a wide range of things. So I think I don't know the full details, but I know that there's more going to be happening for Chicago to really have a clear process for how talks related to strategic interests are selected. And you can certainly see now that one of the tracks when you submit a session, which is if you're not submitted it, you've got what 24 hours, 30 hours, like not long. One of them is core CMS and strategic initiatives. I also think one thing we did really nicely for Atlanta is somebody wanted to give a talk about something and they weren't an expert. But what we did is we sort of trained them in it. So we found some people who want to give talks about something, they're passionate. And then rather than it being a very small number of people giving the same talks, we can train you in those topics to deliver a really good talk and then make that your specialty. So yeah, if anyone does want to start giving talks, obviously things are closing down for Chicago. So if you submit it quickly, you can talk to us. But if you are submitting a talk, it's related to something linked to the AI initiative in some way, and you need help with that, we're very keen to help grow the number of people who can be experts on lots of different areas of AI rather than it being the same people speaking about everything.
Great, thanks, Jamie. We have think time for one last question, and I'm going to throw this out to the entire panel. And this question is: what's one misconception about AI in the Drupal ecosystem that you hope to challenge during this year's event? Frederik, why don't you start?
Well, one misconception I think that some people have at least is I think that it's a nice thing, but it's very in development phase. I think you can already use it in production at some level. So that's one of the things that it's happening as we speak, but it's a misconception that still lives with many people. I think that will be challenged. That will be.
Jamie, you want to go next?
Yeah, I like the phrase "real devs do it with Drupal." Like, to me, the thing is that I feel like some people in Drupal have a little bit of a little Drupal syndrome. We think we're small, we think we're lame, we're not the cool kids, we get bullied by the other frameworks, and Drupal's awesome. I think that needs to change. We are enterprise ready, we are scalable, you should do everything in Drupal. We're new, we're innovative, we're powerful. What we're doing is amazing, it's closer to the edges. So many things have risen and fallen. No one would have expected JavaScript to be the main language everyone does. They had all of these cool new things. And we're here. We're going to stay around. We're in all the organizations that matter already anyway. And so I think the biggest misconception is that Drupal isn't amazing. We need to hang our heads up higher. We need to say, yes, you should be using Drupal, even if you're enterprise. And if you don't agree with us, you're rubbish. We're great. So that's the misconception.
Paul.
Thank you, Jamie. Love that.
I think Drupal CMS has got amazing tools in it for empowering marketers, and there's more to be announced in Vienna. But Drupal can be used for other applications and business critical solutions beyond just content management. And I think that's something that people will begin to realize through both the sessions and also the cases that we're starting to unearth. And as I say, as Frederik has said, these are in the real world right now and they're in production and at scale. So, to echo what Jamie said, this is, serious stuff. And big organizations are using Drupal, so let's go for it.
I want to thank all three of you, my friends, for having this conversation. I really, really enjoyed it. And I hope the people out there who've been watching the webinar live and folks who watch it asynchronously later find the conversation as enjoyable as I did. So thanks very much for spending an hour with me. The recording will be ready early next week, I think, along with a blog post. Well, the blog post certainly isn't going to be ready until early next week, so look out for that. And I really hope that the folks that have participated in the webinar, watching the webinar, that you get involved, because there are all kinds of ways that you can get involved. Like the panelists have said, if you jump into hashtag AI or hashtag AI initiative on Drupal Slack, you're going to find that there's a lively conversation going on. And probably one of the easiest ways to get involved is just start doing things. Start playing with the tools. They aren't scary. If you've got even light site building skills, you can start to use Drupal AI, and you can build credible things pretty quickly and pretty easily. So I'm going to echo what Frederik said. Was, you may think that it's all just sort of new and not polished. Not true. Start playing with it. You'll be surprised. So thanks again, and off to you, Lenny.
Thank you, Matt. So thank you for being our moderator for this really wonderful webinar, which I personally enjoyed very much. For all our attendees and registrants, thank you so much for showing love and interest to our initiative. And please stay tuned for our monthly webinars, and we will see you very soon.